Just to begin with, I just want to explain a little bit my background about astrology, that you have an idea. So, you know a lot about meditation now. And astrology, like I came into touch with meditation 10 years ago. And astrology came 2 years later, actually here in San Marcos at the pyramids, where there was a teacher that is from Canada, and she was part of the Sun course I was doing in 2012. I was doing the Sun course. That's where I found, I came into touch with astrology. I was studying the Kabbalah. I didn't know anything about astrology. I was simply, Melanie introduced us to astrology once a week, and she introduced 2 signs in about 2 hours. So she went through all 12 signs, and that was for me a revelation. Just because I didn't know that the zodiac signs have so much to say and so much to share, and so much language to explain a personality trait. And when she got to Pisces, she explained my mother, and my mother was always this kind of alien to me that I couldn't relate to, that I was just from another, dimension, like living in her own world, and I just kind of just like, why? So weird. And when she explained Pisces, it just really clicked, and I had the first time I understand you, I'm totally not working on that domain, but I can feel you, and you make sense. It was really beautiful for me, and it became a language after all. So after that, I studied with her for a year, one-on-one. She had a really great practical approach. I continued to work afterwards. I read a lot of books. And I started to work with the Center of Psychological Astrology in London. I did an online study for over a year. And then I worked for a year with a teacher called Hunter Reynolds. He's a great teacher. I'm still in touch with him. I just actually, a few months ago, I got a reading from him again, and I gifted one to Emma. And she received a reading as well. It was really good. He's really good. He has a similar approach than I have, which is a non-dual approach, because it's I still what I was teaching to you guys is what I'm living for, or that awareness it's the utmost importance. But from that awareness, you can play with your personality as well, because you're not getting stuck in it. And that's when you can understand yourself. And ultimately, it's this is I will explain to you through the full moon today how it works. And this is more on a collective level. Okay, so this is a full moon is more we could say, imagine it's the energies that are present right now, and we are all influenced by these energies, but because we all have a different filter or antenna to receive that energy, we all perceiving it differently, but there's still a collective experience we're going through. So I continue to study with other teachers, one of the teachers I like a lot, he's out there, Adam Summers, online podcast. He does really good work. I really like his approach, and I just started to become more actually connected to the community of astrologers out there. And I started a recording with a friend of mine on SoundCloud 3 years ago, and I stopped that, and I continue kind of on Facebook just every 2 weeks doing a talk, and that now grew bigger. So since a year, I'm doing that on WhatsApp. So I have a private WhatsApp group, which you're more than welcome to join if you're interested. So the WhatsApp group is actually a group now. I have, I think, almost 400 people there following. And that gives you also discounts to my readings. And you just see first my talks. And that's what I'm doing every 2 weeks. So I'm doing them now. Actually, before I did them on audio. And now since 3 months, I went on YouTube. So this is Dinik also helped me, and I'm having support in that. So I'm just working on my online presence, and I'm working a lot also, I have much more topics to share, and I'm also sharing about meditation. So the YouTube channel is called Astrology and Meditation. And the idea really is about speaking about the personality, but not getting lost in the personality. You could call it actually, a new title that I'm playing with is embracing the personality while going beyond. So it's this paradox of neither or, which we talked about. That's what I have a different approach in astrology than most astrologers, because mostly you speak about your personality and you get another story about yourself, and somebody adds more problems mostly, especially if you would go into Jyotish astrology. Then you have these Indian astrologers where it's like, oh yeah, you have Mars in Aries, yeah, it's retrograde when you were born, yeah, truly, like you have, yeah, your sexuality is just a mess, I guess, you know, like your boyfriend, yeah, you have a hard time, like you should really feed a cow every Tuesday, a white cow ideally. And it's like then a lot of time my work is kind of with people. So I'm doing a lot of online readings and readings here with people that come here. And I'm doing that since 7 years now. I have almost probably like 700 or 800 readings I have been given. I also led workshops and retreats with other teachers. Like last year, I was working with a well-known astrologer from LA. And it's just growing. It's something that's really dear to me because it's not even about astrology. It's much more the language it provides. And so what I'm doing is counseling. I like to meet a person and see where they're at and listening. So when you have a conversation with me, it's not that I'm telling you, I know, Julia, like this is your birth chart and now listen, or you know, like I give you the download and you are just thankful for my words. No, it's like you are the expert of your life. You have been longer than anybody else in your body, and that's the reality that you live. I have an idea because I see it, but I need to have your confirmation if what I'm saying and seeing feels like it resonates with you, and that means like you have to tell me if that's the case or not. And from there, it's a very like an intuitive approach. Like I have learned a lot. I'm learning a lot, mostly through one-on-one conversation. Like that's the biggest learning tool to see how things work. Although you can say generally, you know, Mars in Aries means that, but in that person, it's just different because he is just a unique individuum in that universe, and everybody is different, and that needs to be respected. So you have a rule, but you have to be flexible, and that's what I love. Like there is intuition playing, but there's also the intellect there. So it's like you cannot just refer to, you know, practically, that's what I have learned in the book, the cookbook of astrology, which you go through, that you just have learned. It's the basic that you need to go through. But then you see, sorry, life is an exception. Every person is an exception. Every situation is different, and life is unique and beautiful, and you are constantly learning by speaking with people. So that's really like what I like a lot. So you see already my passion is really like what you have seen me in this retreat, like speaking about meditation, but then like the whole integration part is here in the personality, and that's what I am all about. Like if you, like everybody has potential. If you don't do anything with it, then so what? So there you are with your potential. And I basically do what in astrology, what I'm doing is like I show you, or I support you, or I guide you, invite you to see where you can grow. But it's your, it's an invitation foremost, because it's you that actually wants to grow, and therefore if you come to me, it's almost like you give me the permission to tell you bluntly where you're not, and you're willing to hear that, and not in an arrogant way. It's like when you give me the permission to look at you, it's like I'm deeply fascinated why you are the way you are, and that's not a judgment. It's just like, wow, let's explore like your background, your past, like all the domains that makes you where you are right now, and therefore like how can I help you to support to see what else you need to grow into in order that you can change your own reality. And that is ultimately surrender to who you already are. So the biggest feedback or compliment I get after reading is like, thank you, you told me, you just confirmed me in what I already know. Great, that's it. We reached, couldn't be better basically. And that's very different from most readings. Because a lot of times you get like, oh, you don't have so much water in your chart. Let's balance yourself. Let's push that element more into you. You can do exercises, you can get supplements, but ultimately it's not there. So you always have to put effort in to get that missing element. I would tell to you, get a partner who has that element. You are not that. And you will attract probably like somebody who has that. And that's why you always get attracted to this kind of personalities. Okay, just be more you. Make peace with your personality and make the most of what you have. Don't try to be balanced. Like perfection doesn't lie in balance. Perfection lies in being unperfect. Recognizing that you are a personality, and your personality will always be screwed up. Otherwise it wouldn't be a personality. And that's like, thanks, good. All right, I don't have to try so hard. Makes sense? Everything so far?
Yeah, I love your approach.
That's I love it too, but it took me a long time to synthesize. Like for me, it's still a question for me, like how to merge it. Because when I was doing a lot of meditation, I was like, that's it. But why I'm so fascinated with the personalities, like I just couldn't figure it out how they function together. They were like, oil and water. It's like I'm either here or here, but it's not going together. It's not working. So it's still like me in progress. What I'm just speaking now is things I'm just figuring out slowly.